So today's video is to kind of give you a little bit of a rundown of what this channel is about. We thank you so much for tuning in. We thank you for all the support that you guys are showing us on this channel. And the Amish Rebel was created out of just a deep meaning, or deep sense of call to reach people that might not otherwise have a voice. And so we're doing interviews for people that are maybe not normally able to go onto a podcast and share their life stories. And that's what the Amish Rebel is here to do. And also I'm working on getting my own story out as well, because so many people are interested in my story. And I'm deeply humbled for those of you that continue to ask about my story and want to know more about me. I grew up Amish, as you could probably tell by the name of the podcast, but the Amish Rebel is named after my upbringing, which I grew up Amish until I was about the age of 19. And the reason why I chose to go with the Amish Rebel, a couple of reasons. Reason number one is because after you get out of the Amish community, you are no longer associated with the Amish and their community and going to their church and being involved in their community, so to speak, more or less. If you do get out, and occasionally you'll have contact with your family members and you'll be able to, attend some of the events that they have going on, but most of the time you're completely separated from the community. And so I consider myself a rebel because I stepped out and did that. I got away from the community, and I'm no longer a part of the church, and I'm no longer connected to the community. And so that's the reason for the Amish Rebel podcast. And then also I'm really deeply inspired to get other people's stories out. And so if you're tuning in for the first time, I encourage you to keep listening to the weekly videos that we put out, because these are stories of people that you may never hear about. You may never hear about outside of this podcast, because they're just everyday people who wouldn't normally share their stories, but because they've shared it with me, and I've had a sense that they could help a lot of people by sharing it on this podcast. So that's what I am setting out to do with this podcast, is to get people's stories out and also help other people through tough times through the stories that these people are sharing. And a little bit more about myself. Like I had mentioned earlier, I grew up Amish until I was about the age of 19. And for quite a few years already, I'm 34 now, for quite a few years already I have been thinking about doing this podcast and just procrastinating on getting it done, really, because it's putting myself out there, putting my story out there, and I just know that if I can do this, a lot of you listening can do the same thing. So I encourage you to, whatever that thing is that you're procrastinating about, or whatever that thing is that you feel like you maybe need to step into, I encourage you to do that. Because if it wasn't for people in my life constantly pushing me to get to this place, I probably still wouldn't be putting these videos out. And again, I want to thank you for listening to our stories and listening to this podcast and sharing it with your friends. I also want to just thank you from the bottom of my heart for subscribing and supporting our work. We put a lot of time and effort and energy into these videos to do our best to make them good, and so we hope that inspires you guys listening and are watching if you're on YouTube. So again, my name's Enos Hirschberger, and this is a part of my story, and also I'm sharing a part of a lot of people's stories on this platform to help you guys, and I appreciate you watching. Thank you.